Good to see everybody. This is Success Connect Mastermind on Wednesday, April 20th. I cannot believe it. We are almost into May, when I think it should be officially like there should not be anything below, 60 or something. But we were talking earlier. I will tell you, my sister, Danielle, I was saying this, my sister's birthday is today. And we, in the chatting, she is 16 months younger than me, but for part of the year, I didn't say this earlier, she's 2 years younger than me. And then part of the year, she's only a year younger, so I don't feel quite as old, but that doesn't matter. But I can remember very clearly on her birthday, we grew up on a farm, we'd be sitting out in the garden in our sun or whatever, our bathing suits, and we'd be getting sunburned. But I also remember another time when there were like 6 inches of snow on her birthday too. So it's been a variety. It's a weird time of year. So, I mean, we're here in Indiana with 50 degrees and I don't know, it's supposed to rain the next couple of days, but get warmer. Today is like, is it even 60 out there, Angie? I don't even know if it is. Just comfortable, but I did go out with so this is a strange time of year, but we're almost out of this. We're almost into spring and things are looking good. So yay. So anyway, I already flashed our agenda and I'm not going to go back, but we're going to go. Jim, Captain Commitment, did you get any of the commitments that anybody?
Nobody sent me anything. I believe early last time, so.
Okay, so I wrote down a couple things, but do you all remember what you were talking about last week? I had written down that Danielle was going to do 3 downloadable somethings, and then I dropped off. I guess I was and I was counting on Jim, and then Jim bailed on us. So do you all remember what you were committing to last week, or shall we go through it? Anybody remember?
No, let's go through it. Each person just say what we're going to do and how it went.
And they can actually, now they can change it, Jim. Think about this. They can tell us a total story.
This is a group with integrity. Okay.
Oh, there you go. That's part of the mastermind, integrity. There you go.
Look at that. That was setting us all up for expectations. That's what I do too. I love it. You definitely have that teacher spirit.
Yeah. Well, Jim, if you want to just go through your list and ask who, names.
Okay. We'll go ahead. Go ahead, Danielle. You're first. What was it you tried to accomplish this week?
It was to summarize my podcast and have it available for downloadable takeaway. And I did. Oh, just like, wow, I did it.
All right.
Yay.
I shouldn't be so
Congratulations. That's huge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Linda, you're next.
Good
so
job.
Mine was to finish writing out my the series of 26 topics that I'm working on, making sure that I have the outline. I made some progress on it. I didn't finish it. I started on another project that became more important last week. So I only added 3 more topics to the list. So that, a little progress and to be continued.
And I guess I'll just throw in there, she's been helping me a lot. So I will give her a bye on that one, or I'll give her an excuse.
Okay, Angie, you're next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who is it? Jim, I'm sorry, I was talking.
Angie Hill.
Mine was to add more people into the rotation on my CRM. I can gladly say that all the tasks have been completed for this past week. And I did add some, but I didn't keep track. So I don't know how many. I just every day when I had a pocket of time, I went in and grabbed some people that had been downloaded but didn't have tasks attached, and probably maybe 10 I did. Needs to be an ongoing process for me.
So that's pretty good. 10. That's great. That's a lot of work.
Okay, Nicole.
She's gonna text, I guess.
Okay.
Or message. I have to keep our eyes on the chat for that one. I don't know, Jim.
I don't see her on here yet. Okay, we'll go to you, Jennifer.
You know what? I honestly don't remember what I said. Does anybody remember what I said? Anybody remember?
I thought Jim was writing them down.
He
I
left
could tell you one from 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. That's right.
because he got a phone call right in the middle of our meeting last time, and I sat there and thought, oh, well, hopefully he got everything. Well, he didn't, but that's okay. That's why we're all here to kind of refresh. Oh, yes, yes. Nicole's actually, do you see that, Jim? I think he's frozen. Jim is frozen. Okay, we'll have to wait for him to come back. I will tell you that Nicole is actually getting ready to launch her Start Your Blog. That's going to, I think it's going to be on Mondays at noon. Is that what we said, Eastern time? I think so. Hopefully she's gonna, Jim's got to jump off and come back. And I don't know if you have had time to talk. I think most of us have, but
She says she's still working on the date and time.
oh, okay. So she's not exactly, we've talked, yeah, she's very excited about it. Yeah, very good. Okay, cool. And I would, okay, Jim's coming back.
Hi, everyone. It's today one.
Hey, Jim.
I'm back. Oh, yeah, you, sorry.
Guys,
We're having a real bad storm out here, but you'll see at 10 o'clock tonight.
Oh, they're saying they're gonna get some. Yeah. What were you saying then, Jim? You got cut off.
I have you, you said something about Success Connect design you were working on.
Well, Linda is helping me quite a bit. And actually, if I didn't have her holding me accountable to do stuff, I probably would be just sitting there in a daze, like there's so many ways we can do this. I don't know, Linda, can you help me from what we're talking about? What could be a good thing for me to, you already told me what I needed to do by next week. Can we?
20 questions.
My 20 questions are almost done.
Yay.
I mean, they were done when we were talking.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I have to have 20 questions, 10 questions. Okay, yeah. 10 questions that are questions people are asking about networking when they come to our network. Questions that, and you guys might have some that you might even want to throw out, but then the other are 10 questions that they should be asking me, that they're not. So like Angie, when we're in our groups and somebody doesn't stick around real long, hey Jim, somebody doesn't stick around very long, then why is it that they're leaving? Should I have addressed a question that they didn't, that I should have known they were confused on? You know what I mean?
Smoothing out that onboarding process so that people get the information they need to be successful in TTR networking. Like, what do they need to do? What do they need to know? And providing them with that information.
Yeah. Because I think if, well, we could talk about, forget it, I won't go there. There's just a lot that when I start thinking about who's left and why they left or why I think they left, sometimes it's that their business has not succeeded or their business has gone bonkers and they don't need us anymore, which is not a bad thing. That's exciting. But sometimes sometimes there are people that come in and you're just like, they're clueless. They don't know. So should I be giving them, it would be to be successful in TTR, but to be successful in any network, you need to know some basic things, when you begin networking. It's a little different. So anyway, thank you. So I will continue to work on that. The other thing was, I think we talked, Linda, today there was another thing. Let me think. I will bring it up before the end, but it's Linda's turn to talk. So are we all good on where we are for the week, and then we're going to come up with what we're doing for next week. Danielle, there's nothing much out there that you know, I mean, is there anything left that you have to do now that I'm joking? There's more, right? There's always
I'll
more.
give you some things here today to think about.
Yeah, that's cool. Let me make sure.
Absolutely.
Maybe
I can't
for
wait.
exit interview. Oh,
I
good
can't wait.
idea. An exit
Ooh.
interview. Good answer. Okay. Thank you,
Ooh, yeah.
Nicole. That's a good idea. And we kind of do what's the onboarding interview, kind of. It doesn't necessarily happen the way I want it to all the time, but good idea, Nicole. Thank you. Okay, so it's Linda's turn. Very excited that Linda has been willing to give us her valuable information once a month. And we'll turn it over. If you want to share, you can.
Yeah, yeah, screen sharing.
Yes, ma'am.
Yay. All right, so I will go find this file here, but what we're going to talk about, if I can click and talk at the same time, is going to be the accountability, because that's our theme, right? We're talking about accountability. So what are you as a business owner accountable for? Like, what are these things that we need to be doing? So Jennifer's given us this wonderful overview around, accountability, and that it's important for us. And so I am taking that and going deeper into this theme around accountability for the virtual CEO. Like, what do you need to do as the CEO of your company to be successful? And boy, it takes a minute to click through this to pull up the file, but I'm almost there. There's the Success Connect. Okay, so one of the big shifts that we want to talk about here is this issue of, share screen. All right, it should be opening in the right format.
Yay.
Yay, there we go. Okay. So we're talking about these different pillars of being profitable as a business owner. And so one of the big mindset shifts has to do with how entrepreneurs and employees are different. And so let's start with just, what is the entrepreneur all about? Because it's a very different way of thinking. The entrepreneur doesn't just adapt. They create the environments that we're in. They create specifically new value into the marketplace. And so we want to think about what is the value that we as entrepreneurs are creating and putting into the marketplace. Because part of what we're accountable for is creating value and creating services. Very, very different than thinking about what is it that the employee does. It's a huge identity shift. And people often struggle early in entrepreneurship with thinking about this identity shift. So the entrepreneur's creating that value. The entrepreneur innovates and is the bearer of a lot of risk. Whereas employees, they adapt to that environment. And so when we're getting into like really sitting in the seat of the CEO and being the CEO, we really have to think about the fact that we're creators and what is it that we're creating? Because employees don't have to create, they are completing tasks. They do enjoy a certain amount of security, although not a lot of security these days, but they're not coming up with the tasks. And there is a little more certainty. They're going to get that paycheck Whereas the entrepreneur doesn't really know and takes on more risk. So it's really important to think about what you're creating, what value you add to the marketplace, and how you go about innovating and changing and putting something new out there. So when you're in that seat of being the CEO, there really are 3 different distinct needs that we as entrepreneurs, when we're creating and adding value, we have 3 different needs that we need to address and to balance. And the first one is the needs of the customer. The next is the business. And the third are our own needs, ourself. And they're very different needs. So to be successful as an entrepreneur, we have to think about all 3 of these. And so I'll give you a ton of information in a very short presentation here today, just to kind of get you thinking about all 3 of these. What is it that the customer needs? It's very counterintuitive to think this way. And so being the CEO, we also have to get into the mindset of doing things that are counterintuitive. And what I mean by that is that as an entrepreneur, we don't want to come at this value creation piece by thinking about what can I do? What can I offer? What do I know? Instead, we want to think about the customer journey before we're designing that product or that service. And so that customer journey and that thing that we're creating, that we're adding to the marketplace, has to solve a problem. That's what people buy. People buy solutions to problems. So you want to be really, really clear about what's the problem that people want solved. Not what can I do, but what do they want? And then identify specifically what some of those emotional triggers are. What is it that gets them upset enough to spend money buying the thing that you can help them with? So there are emotional triggers, and then there's the logic. And the logic is the reason, the logical reason that they would buy something. And so when you appeal to both the emotion and the logic, then you're really handling that customer journey and handling that problem that they are wanting a solution for and that you provide. And when you think about it that way, this whole topic of selling becomes a lot easier, because we're not thinking about it in terms of making a sale. It's about offering a solution that people are looking for. Like, people want this. People want this thing that you can help them with. So it's a very, very critical component to think about what the customer wants and needs, and holding ourselves accountable to add that value and to solve problems. So that's an important mindset. And then I said there were 3 main areas. The second one is the area of business. What does the business need? So we got the customer, now we got the business. The business needs marketing material, and that marketing material has to be tested and tried, because even the best marketers who are out there will tell you that marketing material fails more often than it succeeds. So it's important that we test our marketing material to see what pieces work. We might do something and think that we're hoping we're going to get new customers from it. It's important that we track our results with that marketing material. And marketing material includes your elevator pitch, what you say at a networking meeting. It includes what's in print. It includes the webinar that you're doing, all kinds of different things. You want to track to see what works and what doesn't, and then change it just a little bit, little change, and then test it again. I could go on about that for a long time, but I'll leave it at that for now. Other things that we're accountable for, that the business needs is automations. So the automations help with the follow-up. They help with onboarding. They help with new offers. So if somebody doesn't buy the first time that they see what you do or sell, how do you get a new offer in front of them that looks and feels a little bit different? And maybe it taps into a different emotion that they have, or a different way of thinking about it. And maybe it's just, it just wasn't the right time. The first time they heard about it, they just had so many other things going on. It just wasn't the right time. But if they hear about it again later on and in a different way, then it might be the right time. So we want to automate the way that they get new information and new offers from us in our email sequences, in our automated webinars, things that we're doing so that they get new information. So the business needs ways to follow up with people. It needs to have a system for onboarding, and it needs to have a system for making new offers. What else does the business need? The business needs to convert prospects or people we meet who are not customers into customers. And the business needs to know what that conversion percentage is. So if you talk to 100 people, how many of them end up buying? And then it goes back to that marketing material. How do we tweak that marketing? How do we tweak that conversation so that a higher percentage of people make a purchase in the future? So conversions is a whole topic. We could spend hours talking about conversions, but we want to track that conversion rate and experiment with how to increase it. Offers, we want different kinds of offers out there. And then, I know this is everyone's favorite, accounting. So accounting is the real language of business. Most of us get into business, and it's not because we want to spend time thinking about accounting, profit and loss statements, gross profit percentage, net profit percentages. We don't want to really think about that. And yet the business really needs a way of tracking all of that information. What's the revenue? What are the expenses? And the business needs a way to track all of that. Certainly we have to do our taxes. And so the business needs a way to do that. We also want to be thinking in terms of the value that we're adding, not just the dollars. So those are some of the business needs. I encourage you to write some of those down, because in a moment, I'm going to ask you, what are the things that you would like to improve for yourself? Is it the business side? Or the third area is self. We all have our own needs. We have our own habits. And our business is largely the product of our habits. Do our habits support us in getting the important things done? What are the habits that maybe aren't such good habits to have? So really important to take a good look at habits and the environment. And this is strongly connected to our habits. So when we talk about the environment that we're in, we all have mental prompts around us all the time. Some things distract us, some things depress us, some things lift us up and we're excited about. And so I encourage you to think about and look around the space that you're in. What do you see? What is there? Is it distracting? What are the distractions? What are the mental prompts that are in your area? And then another part of the environment that we are in is being part of masterminds. Obviously, you have some awareness around the importance of being in masterminds because you're here today. That's awesome. But the environment that we're in and the people that we talk to, who surrounds us, is a very important part of whether or not we personally and the business succeed. Like, who's around us? Are they lifting us up, encouraging us, or are they bringing us down? And how do we contribute to that? Other habits, just to name a few, that often, get overlooked or we struggle with sometimes is sleep. How much exercise are we getting? Are we doing any sort of meditation? And our nutrition how is our nutrition? Are we doing a good job with that? All of those are areas that are critically important. We could spend a lot of time on any one of those. I'm sure you've heard it, but what are the things that you want to focus on? So is it something around the customer, something around the business, or something in the area of self-management? And to give you an example of the mental prompts, I have a gift for you today that's really going to bring this home. And I'm really going headstrong into that area of talking about money that so many of us don't like to really talk about, and you hear it all the time. Well, it's not about the money, but yet business is about the money. Like, why are you running a business? There's a money component to it. And so when we think about the mental prompts, one of the very specific the things that we want to incorporate into our visual and our awareness at certain times is to think about what's the desired result from the activity that we're doing or the task that we're in or the strategy. What's the specific result? And the reason I have the Visa sign up on the screen right now is that when we are talking to a prospect, we hopefully all have a process that we go through. And at the end, what we really want is that credit card number. We want that Visa. We want that commitment. And there was a study done that talked about entrepreneurs who had a list of questions that they talk with their prospects about. And on the perimeter of that sheet, it said Visa, 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 Visa. And in the middle of that sheet had all the questions and the things that are an important part of that initial conversation that you have with customers. It includes all the things that you want to share about the business, ways that you're going to find out what that person might be interested in, a way that you're going to figure out if they're even a good fit. So sometimes that gets called a prospecting form. And if people had this frame around that client prospecting form that reminded them that the end result of the entire conversation is to get the credit card, the success rate of those conversations dramatically went up. I don't know the exact percentage, but it was above 50% because people stayed focused on that Visa card. And that's the end goal of those calls and conversations that we're having with people, is to get that credit card. So this is just one real specific thing, and I'll give you the link to this if you want to download it. It's an interesting commentary on just how important our environment is and how important the mental prompts are. So that's the bulk of what I'm talking about here today as we help our businesses go from infancy up to being a mature business. We really want to take a look at those three main areas. And what I'm going to ask you to do next is to identify what are the things, and I'll go back customer, business, or self? And what is it that you think might help you the most in your accountability to yourself as a CEO and any accountability that you want to share with this group? What is it that would be good for you to give some more attention to? And with that, I'll end the presentation about accountability, but that is, just some additional information about accountability as the CEO of your virtual business. So with that, questions, comments, or accountabilities?
Well, I know for sure, well, both the customer and the business, I think, for me. The business definitely. I think I don't know. I don't want to say I'm too old, but I think I've figured out the self stuff pretty well. I mean, I have to do it. I have to. I'm not, if I were 25, it'd be different, but I'm not. I don't think I can go on forever. So I have to take those times out and do things that are, I'm still not, there's some things, but I know I need to change them. Those are not new things, but the business end of it. Linda's helping me on all those. It's funny how much of that really falls under what we're working on anyway. So,
it's different for all of us about what it is that would be helpful and how do we focus and how do we create that awareness around these different areas. You might want to pick something that is your weakest point, or you might not want to pick the thing that is the weakest. You might want to pick something that would feel more doable and you could take one bite of the elephant instead of trying to do the whole thing at once. So anybody else want to share?
One thing that stood out to me the most was the business aspect. I'll give my shirt off my back, just easy, nice and easy. I've been in independent sales. I've been in all types of sales, but at the end of the day, if I look at that person, I say, oh, you need this more than I need the money. I don't say it out loud, but I feel it. And it's like, like here, you can just, I'll find a way. I'll give you a discount. Hold on. Wait, I give 50% off. You can, you can have my discount, and I think that's something to really hold on to, because even my husband tells me all the time, it's great that you love people. It's great. But if you're going to do this, you got paid, you paid to go to school.
Yeah.
So they need to pay for the education, the value of the education that you can give them, because they're going to learn so much. And it's just that, like, oh my gosh, like if I could just give it away, I'll just give it away. But I sometimes I find, and I'm noticing that people don't put too much value on the giving away.
Right.
The more you give it away, it seems like the less they value it. I was talking to a friend of mine about that over the weekend, and she was laughing with me, and it was like, and when, yeah, and Renee was just shrugged his shoulders, like, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how if it's free, it's not valued and people don't act on it. But if they're paying for it, then it is valued more. And so there is an energetic exchange and value when there's money involved.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having money to pay bills and whatnot, but if I could just give it away, I'm that person. But I do know, and I do understand that perhaps that's a money mindset issue as well. I always look at the people who maybe have the least amount, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to give it away. But the ones that have the least amount, they're not the ones who are knocking on my door and saying, I need help. It's the ones who can pay.
Yeah. So what's the thing that you want to work on, Danielle?
I I'm going to have to work on, it looks like it's going to be a mindset shift for me.
Okay.
Okay. Because I can count, I can put 1 + 1 on paper and everything, and I can see how negative I get in my finances. But, you know, it's the, and I understand also that it's not just dollars, but it's also value. So in that respect, I would have to say, you know, it'll be mindset to shift that. I've been working on it, but hearing that again from you, the guru, is kind of like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such an important shift. And sometimes, does it help at all to phrase it as, I have something to offer that will help solve their problem? And so it's not that I'm asking for money.
Right.
I have a solution, and if you want it, here's how you can get it.
That sounds a lot better. It does. And I repeat that, I think, and just keep on repeating that within myself. And then that sounds a lot better, because I want to sell you. I have a program that I want to sell you. Yeah, that,
Yeah.
But, you know, I know what I'm doing it for, because I want to help them get through the program, you know, lose the weight, feel better, get rid of the toxins, whatever it is. But it still comes out like, I'm here, I want to sell you something. And selling is honorable. That's how the world goes around.
Yes.
We just need to
Right.
Stop it.
Exactly.
And don't be afraid to make a living. The person that you're helping, they make their living somehow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, good girl, Angie, girl. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, we've talked
Okay.
about this before, because this, especially under TTR networking, has always been so much about relationship, and it's not about the sale, and you can't go into a relationship with your hand on your wallet, you know. True, all true. But in the end, like Linda said, you could do this as a volunteer, but you're not. You're not volunteering to sell skincare or to give skincare out. You know what I mean? It is to make money.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, we can't be afraid to do that, because the people we're helping, they make money somehow too.
Absolutely. Ooh, that was good, y'all.
It's kind of, it's really good. Can I just really quickly, you guys are so funny, not funny, but it's so funny. I was on I'm trying to do this here. Sorry, guys. I don't know how she says her first name, but it's Jerisha Hawk, is a, gosh, I just saw it, business growth coach. I mean, she actually, and I'm not trying to steer you away from Linda. I'm saying this woman, if you go to Kathy Heller, Nicole and I were part of a Kathy Heller mastermind last 2 years ago. I'm not sure. I think it was 2 years ago. But anyway, Jerisha Hawk, if you put that into just Jerisha, I don't think that's how you pronounce it. But anyway, jerishahawk.com, you'll find her. And is it 2 years? Wow. But anyway, she talks all about money. And I think that's probably and she says it's a resource. If you can think, and I mean, we were just on a send out card thing. They were doing the same thing. It's a resource, it's energy. If you can look past, you know, and just know you don't, I mean, you have to listen. Oh man, it's a very big, difficult thing for me, Danielle, too, believe me. But I would tell you, if you want to find Kathy Heller, it is actually, it's spelled Cathy Heller, Heller. She has great guests, and Jerisha just was on and you can get it on the podcast, but she talks all about it. It's amazing it's just a resource, and you're here. She calls us, what are we? We're trust fund babies of the of God. Basically, we're here to receive the abundance. I mean, this woman, but it makes you feel like, why wouldn't you? I mean, you're not, and we can't speak. Talking about all the stuff you've done, I'm like, you should be millionaire, woman. Let's do this for you. All the work you've put into this. I mean, really. But anyway, Jerisha Hawk. if you can look her up. I will try to, because I just looked it up on my phone. She is very, and she's a young person. She's like in her, if she's 30, but she is a millionaire. She made $1 million last year. But she's a business coach, but you don't have to go and take her course. Work with Linda is what I'm saying, but there's people out there that are talking about money when we're all kind of, and my husband will say, well, you're in Indiana, they don't like to spend money, I mean, he's not saying it to be mean. He's just saying you're fishing in this Indiana pond. And I'm like, no, there are people out there that understand what we're bringing to them. We just got to find those people.
Well, there are people out there who have a problem that you can solve, and they will give you money for that solution. So when we are clear about what is the problem that we solve, and describe that to people in a way that they can understand, and they are, the right people are willing to say, hey, I would like that solution, and I'm willing to give you money for it. So,
actually, I just say that really, really quick. Thank you, Linda, for the great, great information, great thing to get us all thinking about, because I'm not going to speak for Nicole, but when I joined Kathy Heller's Mastermind 2 years ago, I didn't know where I was getting the money, but I was getting the money, and I got the money. It wasn't like it was sitting on my desk waiting for me to spend it. It was, I knew that I needed and it's exactly what Linda says. If we can if we can figure out what the problem is, and that's an interesting thing to come from the customer's journey, because you guys probably, we're all probably sitting there thinking, I know what my customers need, but when you think about it from their perspective, I was telling Linda, I said, and maybe it's not around the right line of thought, but I was saying, but I had an attorney in our Northside group this morning saying how he really thought our onboarding was awesome. Or it was easy. It was clear. And he just kept, and I was thinking, what did I do? What did I do? Just do what I always do. But the fact that he was positive about it. And then, I don't know, Linda said, well, you don't realize what you do. People don't always, they don't realize how, or they don't know that that's the way to do it. Or, you know what I mean? Maybe it's not the exact same thing. It's the little things that we do in our TTR groups, Angie. Not everybody knows, or Jim and Nicole, I know Danielle's not there, but the people, they come in and think they're instantly going to get referrals. They don't understand that's not how it works. Angie's been around for 7 years. Jim, I think you've been around a little longer than that. Maybe not, maybe a little less. But he knows how he says it. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Long time.
But it's not instantaneous, is it? And it's a okay, I'll quit talking. But I've changed. I'm reading Angie's. It's cool. They have not thought about the fact that they're using. Yeah, that's probably when I hear you talk about that, Angie, when the natural living or the young living ladies talk about, I'm like, every time I smell something good in the air, I'm thinking, is that a toxic thing I'm putting in my body? And I'm like, oh my God, these ladies have got me thinking about this now. I'm just freaking out. I just, but if it weren't for them, I might be frying my brain. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to stay away from that stuff.
Well, it's kind of funny because, Linda's first comment was your customers have a problem. Many of my prospects don't even know they have a problem. They've not thought of it yet. And so I create this. So have you thought of this? And I would say most times they were already on a thought process about cleaner ingredients before I got to them. But there are plenty of times, and it takes time. It's not the first conversation, but they start hearing me talk about it and they're like, well, yeah, I changed so many cleaning products in my home, but I never thought about what I'm washing my face with, and the other thing is maybe they have, and there's a lot of natural and organic products out there, but as you're aging and you're looking in the mirror and you're going, gosh, I put that eye stuff on all the time and I still have these wrinkles. What the heck? maybe they're not working. You're doing good. You're not using toxins, but they're not working for you. So that could be a problem that they don't realize that in fact, I was talking to someone just today. She's been using the same skincare for years. She goes, I'm not opposed to trying something, but I just been using it for years. And my question was, well, assuming that it's working for you. And a lot of times they go, you know what? I just use it. I don't pay attention to whether it's doing anything for me. So there's a problem they didn't even realize that they had,
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. Good job.
Yeah, and it does depend on whether or not a customer has any awareness of the problem. And the difference is how we do the marketing and approach the person. At the end of the day, it solves the problem, but they don't always know they even have the problem. So your marketing has to be different,
right?
If they're not even aware.
Exactly. Thank you, Linda. That's awesome. I knew you'd come up with something great. Wow. Well, we've got only like 5 minutes, 6 minutes left. And I don't want to thank you, Linda. Thank you so much for that. That's great information. So just tell you again, just make sure if you're not reaching out to each other, make sure you are, because there's just so much we can get. And I know Linda's coaching me. So, I mean, come on, people. You might want to, find out more about what she can offer. Yes. Thank you, Angie. I do want to say we're going to talk a little bit about the law of attraction next week. And I want you to kind of come in with an open mind, not that anybody's necessarily said anything negative about the law of attraction, but I do want to talk a little bit about that because there's a lot. It's basically, what was it? I wrote down, I've had so many notes since the last time we talked, but it's basically what you focus on, whatever you concentrate. Here, I've got it. Is what multiply. It's what you focus on. Yes, what you think about, talk about, believe strongly about, and feel intensely about, you bring about. That's basically what the law of attraction is. So it's what you're putting out into the universe is what's coming back to you. So, I mean, I say every time, and Linda, I'm just being funny here, but every time I'm meeting with Linda, I'm like, oh, damn, she's giving me more to do. Am I ever going to get to the end of this? But then I'm thinking at the end of it, I'm like, but you know what? When I'm done, there's going to be some really cool stuff that I've created with her help and with a lot of input from all of you, from our members and stuff. So I don't want anybody to think but it's just, you have to put the energy in, yeah, she's giving me all kinds of good stuff. So let's go around. Jim, can you take notes there on what people are going to do next week? Okay.
I'm taking notes.
My daughter just called. You guys keep talking. I've got to call her because she's pregnant.
Okay, Danielle, what do you have planned to get done by next week?
Well, I definitely can't say the same thing. My podcast is weekly. So what I'll say instead is that I'm going to go ahead, like Nicole mentioned, and as you all encouraged me to do, I'm going to go ahead and put some positive mindset. I'm going to if I don't say this right, then I'm not going to do it. I am going to explain to myself, I'm going to write down to myself, I'm going to encourage myself to look at money not as money, but as an exchange of energy, as you all called it, energy. I like that. Yeah. I give you my energy, so on and so forth. So that's what I'm going to do. Positive mindset, but I'm also going to work on that marketing because that is also key. So marketing and at least three cards, so that way I can reaffirm that this is what I'm called to do.
Okay, great. Okay,
Did you get that? Was that weird?
I got it. To encourage
Okay.
self about the exchange of energy and so much about money, exchange of energy. Yeah, marketing.
Yeah, good.
Okay, Linda.
So mine is to get that list finished of the topics that I'll be presenting on in my free presentations. So finishing that list.
Okay. presentations. Okay, awesome. Angie.
I got a lot going on here. I just typed mine in the chat.
It'd be hard for me to get that. Let's see, I'd have to read it. You can't say it. It'd be so much easier. It's a lot. I won't be able to write it down. It'll disappear.
Shoot, I thought I wasn't muted. Sorry, guys. So Jim, she says she will be building on the others. She's going to, number one, continue to check off tasks each week, add more 10 people per week, maybe more, to her CRM. She's going to get 5 one-to-one calls with new people each week. Wow, good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to write that. You're gonna have to send it to me.
Well, I'm actually going to save it too, and I'll write it down because we're saving the chat too. So good.
Okay. Okay, Nicole will be on the chat also.
Yep.
Jennifer.
Well, yeah, and my daughter's fine, everybody. She just doesn't. She goes, you didn't have to get off your call. I said, when my daughter, who's expecting soon, is calling, I get worried. And she's been sick almost every day, so more than you need to know. Okay. I am working on the 20 questions, but we are the 20 questions that Linda and I were working. I'm almost done with that now, but I have so many notes, people. I'm going to document the onboarding process for TTR and the next step after the onboarding, which basically then gets turned over to the leaders, Angie. Pretty much. Nicole. So there you go.
Okay. For myself, I'm working on a list. Like last week, I set up 2 landing pages for my instructors and the manufacturers, where they go to download the application and the agreement. And now I'm working on a list for next week of 15 instructors and 15 manufacturers that I would contact once I come up with once the landing pages are finished, the application's finished. I have to have everything all ready before I introduce myself. So that's what I'll be doing, is the 15 instructors and a list of 15 manufacturers by next week. Okay, that's everybody.
Oh, cool. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Does anybody, I don't know. I don't know. In our Northside group, we always have our financial planner always tells a joke, and he's been gone for like 2 months because he had a knee replacement, and he said he was going to be back like right after. And I said, I don't think you're going to be back. And he wasn't back, and it's on Zoom, but he couldn't even get to his office to do Zoom. So that's why I'm not going to have my knees done for a while. Anyway, I am going to have it done. But anybody got a joke or anything? Yeah. Do you have a joke?
My favorite cartoon, it's a cartoon, and this guy's painting a sign on the door, and it says, Psycho the Rapist. And the guy goes, psychotherapy is one word, please. One word.
Psychotherapist. I don't know. Linda's kind of looking a little tentative there. Okay, Jim is a real fruitcake. We've already confirmed that. So, Jim. I hope everybody is very safe, takes care, and be careful out there, Jim. I know we have been told it's supposed to rain later, so I know you're probably getting some nasty weather. And Danielle, thanks for being here. Nicole, get better. Linda, thank you. And Angie, as always, thank you for your dedication to all of us. It's wonderful to have everybody. Be safe, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.